Hi, Sue here in beautiful Sedona, Arizona, bringing you another pose of Yoga with Sue. Today's pose is going to be Utthita Trikonasana. That's Sanskrit. The common term is triangle pose, which has a number of wonderful benefits, starting with the bases, the feet. It strengthens and tones the ankles, the lower legs, the quadriceps if you keep them fully engaged. It loosens up the hips, opens the hips. And then moving up the body, it tones the skeletal spinal musculature. It stimulates internal organs. It opens up the shoulders, the chest, the arms. So I'm going to come into the posture, demonstrate the initial way to get into the posture, and then if you experience limitations, I'll try to give you modifications to make maybe the pose a little more accessible based on your restrictions. So we'll begin by taking a rather wide stance, as if you were coming into Warrior Two. So a very wide, maybe a meter, 3 to 5 feet. So go ahead and gauge your distance, and then make sure that your left heel, or your front heel, I should say, intersects on a straight line with your back instep. And the first thing you want to do is begin to engage your legs. So really firm down through your feet, firm through your ankles, and then draw up on the kneecaps to start engaging your quadriceps. From here, extend the arms out. When you're ready, take a nice breath. And with that slow exhale, begin to reach with that front arm, tucking that bottom hip underneath the top hip. Here we're concentrating on lengthening through both sides, so avoid the tendency to want to crunch into the side. So seek length between the hip and the armpit on the bottom side as you reach long. When you can no longer reach for length, float the bottom arm down, either to the ground, to your leg, or perhaps a block. Hey, for this purpose, there happens to be a rock here. So place that bottom hand down, float the top arm up, and as you do so, roll your chest open. So really we want to create a nice straight line from fingertip to fingertip. From here, you can continue to gaze straight ahead if you have restrictions in your neck. If it feels better, you can always turn your gaze to look at the bottom foot. If you have no restriction in the neck, you can start to take the gaze upward, and as you do so, pull that top arm onto the back. Maybe open your heart a little more. Make sure you float with the breath in and out, allowing it to flow. Don't lose your connection with your hips. And then think of externally rotating the inner thigh of the front leg and rolling that top hip back. That'll keep the hips, the groin engaged and opening. When you're ready to come out of the posture, lift through your top fingers. As if you're reaching towards the ceiling, feel the lifting action to come out, and then release the arms down. If you feel an intense pull in your hamstring, you can also shorten up your stance to initially come into the pose, and maybe keep a little more of a micro bend or a slight bend into that front knee. But it makes it difficult to really engage or draw up on your kneecap when your knee's bent. So micro bend is best, always best, not to lock your joints. So that's Trikonasana. As soon as you complete that side, be sure to move on to the other side to keep that symmetry in the body. Thanks for joining me today, and check out the other poses on my page, Yoga with Sue.